Hi. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are all doing well today. Another beautiful day in California, and I hope you get out and get some sunshine in a safe place like your backyard or something like that. Um, hi, Lena. I hope everyone is able to keep up with their assignments. Excuse me. Phantom Panda. That is Hayden. Hi, Hayden. Hi, 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 Anthony and Warren. I've got 100 subscribers. Wow, I guess that's pretty cool since there's 101 students. I wonder who that one is. All right. Hi, Gabby. Hi, Josh. I'm glad to see you all. Um, Lexi was on my thumbnail this morning. Hello, Warren and Drew. ¿Estás ahí? Qué bien, Drew. Phantom Pancake is Matt. Now I've got them straight. Phantom Panda is Hayden. Phantom Pancake is Matt. All right, guys, good to see you. And I hope you were all able to join in the live stream for prayer with Miss Zamora. Hi, Ari and Nicholas. Uh, Oh, do I need to do a celebration video for 100 subscribers? Hi, Sam. Hi, Riley. Hi, Sophia. Hi, David. Okay, Drew, tell me, what do I need to do? I have no clue. I am new at this, so I expect a little guidance from you all. Hi, Nicholas G and Nicholas M. Um, all right. Yes, celebrate. Woo! Celebrate, everybody. At the count of three. One, two, three. Celebrate. Hi, Caroline. I'm doing well. Thank you. I hope you guys are all doing well. It's a challenging time for all of us, but we need to keep hope and faith and love and kindness in our hearts, and we will all get through this. Um, Get 1,000 and you get a plague. Thanks, Riley. All right. Oh, you want to celebrate with no homework? Well, you have very little homework tonight, and it's only reading. So I miss you too, Caroline. I miss all of you. I miss all of you. And I hope you got to see, I don't know, my thumbnails have been pretty bad because I didn't realize they were taking a picture when they were taking a picture. So today I had a thumbnail with my dog, Lexi. All right. Um, Okay, so we're going to start today. Today, our lesson is going to be about the struggle between the popes and the kings. And we talked about how powerful the church was at the time. Very powerful. They dominated the entire society, and so they were kind of a serious institution to deal with. And if you weren't in their good favor, they had the power to not grant salvation according to them, which was really sad. Hi, Sophia. Lexi is right here. Come here, Lexi. Quick hello. Come here, come here, come here. Say a quick hello. Here we go. Come on, Lex. One of my dogs. Say hi, Lexi. Hi, everybody. All right. She doesn't get where the screen is, right? She just wants her love and her kisses and her hugs. All right. Um, so before um, the kings, before popes could pick their cardinals and their bishops to run a church, and the king had full control of the church and the kingdom. But in the 800s, it was now common for kings and nobles to choose cardinals or bishops. But this did not go over well with the monks. So there was this monk. Oh, nice, nice, Ari. She has her kitty. Oh, I'm sorry. On the book, we are on page 284 in the book. So if you could all get there. Thank you, Sophia. I should have said that at the beginning. Um, there was a monk named Hildebrand, and Hildebrand was part of a reform to free the church from the king. He wanted the church to be independent. He became Pope in 1073, and when he became Pope, he renamed himself. He became Pope Gregory the Seventh, and in 1075, he issued a document. He issued an order declaring that all bishops and cardinals were no longer to be appointed by the king. It also stated that if government officials didn't listen, they could be removed for office. Okay, pretty hefty consequences. How do you think the kings felt? How do you think the kings felt after the church said that? Anybody? Let's talk. Yikes. Yes. Mad. Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, they were not happy with any of this. They thought scared, horrible, upset. Absolutely. They felt that their power was being undermined. So, of course, the king of Italy and Germany, which was King Henry the Fourth at the time, considered this an attack on his power. And so, like you all said, he was very angry, really upset, not happy at all. He replied and he told Pope Gregory, get this, that he was not going to obey his rules. Well, Pope Gregory was not happy about that. And he even gave King Henry IV another warning. And King Henry did not heed that warning. So Pope Gregory VII excommunicated King Henry from the church in 1076. Yeah, he did have some courage, Sophia. What does excommunicated mean? We've talked about this before. He was excommunicated by the Pope. What does that mean? Yes, that was bad, Nicholas M. That was bad. So, what does it mean to excommunicate someone? Thanks, Drew and Gabby. Kick him out of the church. He was excommunicated from the church at a time when the church was extremely powerful. So, really, pretty much, when you were excommunicated from the church, you were excommunicated for society. Thank you, Josh and Warren. You were excommunicated. So here is King Henry, kind of out in the open, excommunicated, isolated. King Henry still expected support from his knights and his nobles, but none came to his aid because they were afraid for your salvation. So, in fact, because he was excommunicated, from then on, he wasn't allowed to control anybody. So right now he's feeling pretty bad. That's right. You guys are all saying that. He's feeling out of control. And so he acts out of desperation. And he's desperate to save his throne. So he travels to Italy. Yes, this is a true story according to historians, barefoot. And he went to ask forgiveness of Pope Gregory VII. Mind you, there was snow on the ground. It was snowing outside. And Pope Gregory kind of said, oh, let him suffer a little bit. And Henry IV was there in the snow barefoot for 3 days. Now, if you ask me, that's not a very Christian thing to do, right? I think it's kind of sad. I think it says a lot about that particular Pope. If he were truly trying to live like Jesus and follow Jesus's footsteps, he would have immediately forgiven King Henry IV. But yes, Drew, that does take a lot of willpower to stay there for 3 days, cold and in the snow. Um, absolutely. And so after 3 days, the Pope decided to cancel the excommunication. Finally, right? Although, yes, Drew, I agree with you. That Pope was mean, and he certainly wasn't acting with good morals like the church expected everybody to act, right? So it's kind of sad when your institution stands for something and you're the leader of it, but yet you don't show the kindness and the mercy and the forgiveness and the moral behavior that you're asking others to show. So, although the church won that particular battle, it wasn't until 1122 that many of the kings and church leaders had disputes again on who should run the church. Now, in the United States, we have separation of church and state. Every church is its own entity, and they function with their own hierarchy and their group of believers and their community services and things of that nature. And then the government is separate, right? We have a democracy, we have our president, we have Congress, we have our judicial department. And so we had a separation between church and which works really well. But not then. So the king believed that he should run the kingdom and the church, while the clergy believed that the church should be completely independent. In 1122, the church leaders, king's representatives, and nobles gathered at a place called Worms in Germany. Worms is a German city. How would you like that? Where are you from? I'm from Worms. Sounds a little crazy. It was there that they agreed to a treaty called the Concordat of Worms. This meant that only the Pope could choose the cardinals and bishops, and he was pretty much in charge of his church. So, yeah, that is kind of a strange name. So, while the popes and the kings struggled during their struggles for power, the citizens were trying to live their lives as the church has taught them. Because remember, they believe that if they don't follow the rules of the church, they will not get to heaven. So, the rules of the church, if you remember, were they wanted people to live moral lives, um, they wanted people to perform good work, and very important to them at the time, they wanted 10% of their income. And at the time, the people gave 10% of their income to the church and then 10% of their income to the Lord whose land they farmed. So you're talking 20% right off the bat. Not as bad as our taxes today, but a lot of money for back then. The church, as we discussed, was all powerful over society, but a shared faith gave them unity. But if you had different beliefs than the main church, then you weren't so readily accepted. You were kind of an outcast. One example is the Jewish people. They were not accepted and they were even persecuted. I agree, Ari. Taxes are annoying. We need some of them, but still, they are annoying. I want you all to please look on page 286. If you'll turn to page 286 and look at those paintings of the church. Look at those paintings of the church. Here's, in case you don't have your book, but I hope you do, there's page 286 and the paintings on the church, of the church. People are admitted into the church through baptism. So their rules were very specific. The second painting to the right, during daily mass, the Last Supper of Jesus and his disciples is remembered. Then the big one in the middle, the Catholic Church teaches that marriage is the formal union of man and woman as husband and wife in the sight of God. And the church still believes that today. In the 1000s, people married as early as the age of 13. So if you lived back then, theoretically, a lot of you would be married this year or next year? Give that some thought. What do you think about that? Right? In colonial times, people married very young also and had children very young and had many children to help on the farms. So your generation is quite different from that. Ari says she's not getting married. Drew says that's young. Yes, it is. Sophia doesn't want to get married. Yoshi says está muy bad, está malo, no le gusta esa idea. And Lena says that's nasty. Nope. So all of you are saying you would not. But if you lived back then, that was what was acceptable. And then look at the very last painting. At burial ceremonies, a priest offered a blessing for the dead and welcomed the soul into heaven. But these paintings are beautiful. They're detailed. They're some of the best artwork of the time. And so we can conclude, you see how the church interacts in people's daily life. It provided a meaning for life and a way of sharing important events. It also controlled most important events of a person's life. So that was the power of the church. And so to continue, many new orders in the church were created at this time because people didn't necessarily want to be monks or priests, but they wanted to interact with the church and hold up its ideals. And there is a famous person, his name is Francis of Assisi, who gave up his inheritance. Apparently, his family had a fortune, and he gave up his inheritance because he wanted to be like Jesus. He wanted to live a life of poverty. And to him, he thought that was meaningful. He rebuilt churches and he served the poor. He created a new religious order called the Franciscans, which is still alive and functional today. And then during this time until the 1100s, education took place in the monasteries and the cathedral, right? Because this is where these were the educated people in society, were the clergy. But during this time, the Muslims had really sparked an interest in knowledge and education as they began to share their extensive knowledge of science and astronomy and philosophy and digging up the old Greek classics and so forth. And people like Socrates and Aristotle, they began to look into these. They began to study medicine and anatomy. And so the public wanted to be a part of it, and they wanted to learn more. They wanted to study philosophy and medicine and law. And so universities began to spring up. And by the 1200s, universities had replaced monasteries as popular centers of learning. Then, during this time, also religious art flourished, especially in designing and building the well-known Gothic cathedrals. Look in your books on page 288. There is the inside right there of a Gothic cathedral, incredibly exquisitely built. They had all kinds of new architectural techniques that they used, including ribbed arches and something called a flying buttress, which served as a support for the heavy structures. These cathedrals sometimes took hundreds of years to build. They were meticulous. They had stained glass windows. Hi, Lex. They had designs. If you look at that picture, it was truly amazing. And so all these new architectural innovations and were applied to building these beautiful Gothic cathedrals. Gabby says the cathedral is so detailed. Absolutely. Sophia says it looks like the ones in Spain. Yes. Drew, it is beautiful. I know. It's amazing. They really put in a lot of work. And when you go to Europe and these places, tour these cathedrals, they're absolutely beautiful. So these cathedrals made church members feel like being in the cathedral was the closest thing to being in heaven because of this beauty and this peace and this beautiful architectural style and these works of art and these stained glass windows. And so, did some people build them and then die? Yes. And some people began the building with other people and died before the cathedral was done. Were done. The cathedrals were done. So yeah, just like the Great Wall of China. Remember, people died as they were building it, and actually they kept building them right into the wall. So a long, long time. All right. I think, does anyone have any questions about anything about the class today? Any questions? Um, I know. Nicholas says, imagine not being able to see what you have spent your life on. Yeah, that would be terrible. Um, Josh says, imagine if a person who built the cathedral died the day before it was done. Oh, that would really be sad. At least they had seen what it was pretty much going to be like, but that would really be sad. Um, very sad. And let's see. Uh, Phantom Panda, which is Hayden, says it was epic. But maybe when you visit, when you go back or when you go for the first time to Europe and visit these cathedrals, you'll have a lot of information about them and you'll be able to enjoy them more and know a little bit about them. Okay. Um, if no one has any questions, we're going to sign off for today. Drew, I will remember to celebrate, and when we come back to school, I will have a day of no homework for you all. So remind me when you get back. So tonight, please read pages 284 to 288. You're going to read about the Pope and King Henry IV and the things that we talked about. So I'm signing off for now. I hope that everybody has a great afternoon. Um, find something fun to do today and take care. Enjoy yourselves. But remember, practice social distancing. You're welcome, Miss Gabby. And thank you. I guess having 100 subscribers is pretty good. I don't know because I've never done this. Okay, you all have a great day. You're welcome for the lesson. And we will see you tomorrow. Okay, love you and miss you guys. And I hope we will be able to see each other soon in person. All right, take care. Bye bye.